Get a book, man. Reading is fundamental. Fun to mental. Think. It ain't illegal yet, but they working on it. I want the young motherfuckers in here tonight, no matter what your nationality is, turn the motherfucking TV off for 1 week and see if you can survive. Motherfuckers are going to a television junkie motherfucking mode. Ain't no TV. I need my remote, nigga. I'm jonesing. It's called television programming. They telling you visually to program. You being programmed. You watch it on the news. It was on CNN, it's true. I seen it on Fox. It's real. It's bullshit. You know Obama ain't running shit.
Revolutionary, scary, thought-provoking, spoken words of a change I don't feel but I see. Visions from me at 23, making it free in my community. One day is what I live for. Ain't thinking about no hope no more. I got my boots, I kick until I get wet. Adapt and overcome. Oh hum. Go get my gun, load up with fun, and put it down with the frown. What goes round comes round from MLK to Cascade. I know it's through them penny figures, cocaine dealers flow the walk sides, off in their rides, looking cleaner than I seen them the last time. They selling dimes, now it's quarter keys, stacking G's in the South and D's. My nigga, them folks riding bicycles, I'm all vehicles off in the hood. Know what each and every nigga selling, but can you blame? Seems like the only way a brother can survive the game. To fly hard to get by, dope dealing, fatal killings and bedtime. To write rhymes, it ain't just the police. We kill each other, just lost another brother. Fast living to get you took, thinking it can't happen to you, and then it do. Off crooked schemes, that's the dream. Floating face down in the mainstream.
Truly, rappers have the voice. We are loud. I mean, and a lot of us, me included, have abused the opportunity to take this voice where 5 million people will listen to you and say something. Finally realized that we're missing like one of, probably like, if not numero uno, one of the top voices. We're missing it. And this big, large rap voice, to me, is larger than, in the eyes of the kids in America right now, it's larger than the politicians and the preachers.
Y'all know how bad it is out there. You watch the news like I watch the news. All these little kids dying, and the world just bugged out, man. It's not like it was way before when, as we remember it. Even probably people older than me remember it different, like more quiet and calmer. I remember like problems, but it wasn't as bad as it is now for like the younger generation. So we have to be more compassionate.
Gangster thug image.
I don't see it as me having this gangster thug image. Thug life would be more accurate, but it's not an image, it's just a way of life, it's a mentality. Yes, I have taken the time to reflect on it. And my reflection, I don't see it as being wrong, I just see it as being a stage that we all go through. It's just like that. For little white kids and rich kids, they get to go to the military academy or ROTC, or they get to take all of this energy and put it into the armed forces. And for a young black male, a young Puerto Rican or Hispanic person, we got to put this in the streets. That's where our energies go. That's the only place we have to put it. So that's where we end up putting it. So that's what I did. I don't feel like what I did was so evil. I just feel like what the way I was living and my mentality was a part of my progression to be a man.
Okay. Man, it's like, that's deep. It's like, when you're born, usually you're born into a dynasty or an empire, right? You're born like as a junior or, you know, following in your father's footsteps. You always tell, oh, your father, he did this, or your father, or your grandfather, he did this, or we got this, or the family heirlooms. There's none of that in the outer city. I call it the outer city because we left out. It's nothing. We don't get any family heirloom, the family crest, all that stuff that you would think is so important was meaningless because I mean, come on. Our family crest was cotton, you know what I'm saying? It's like, man, it's like the only thing we can really leave behind is culture, is music, you know, and dignity and determination. That's what we had. So it's like, I feel as though I'm cheated because instead of me fulfilling my prophecy, I have to start one. Instead of me, you know, doing a good job and carrying on the empire, I have to build one. And that's a hell of a job for a 21-year-old. You know what I'm saying? That's a hell of a job for any youngster, male or female, to have to build an empire for your family. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, especially when the odds is that, you know that somebody else who lives in the inner city, the real inner city, suburbia, who, when he's born, I mean, 16, he gets a car, automatic. You know, there's money in the bank for college. You know, it's Christmases, go to vacation somewhere. Our vacations was down the street, cross town, grandma house. You know what I'm saying? That was the vacation. Or, you know, or jail, to be even more real. And I hate to make this like sad story, but it's real. Because this world is such a, and when I say this world, I mean it. I don't mean in an ideal sense. I mean in every day, every little thing you do. It's such a, gimme, gimme, gimme. Everybody back off. You know, everybody's like, you taught that from school, everywhere. Big business, you want to be successful, you want to be like Trump, gimme, 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 push, 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 step, 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 crush, crush, crush. That's how it all is, and it's like, nobody ever stopped. Just, you know, I feel like, instead of us just being like, slavery's bad, slavery's down, bad whitey, bad whitey. I mean, all right, let's stop that. And everybody's smart enough to know that, I mean, we've been slighted, and we want ours. And I don't mean by, like, ours, 40 acres and a mule, because we passed that.
That Tupac is a literary artist because this stuff that you hear him speak so eloquently into the microphone, at the same time he had to write and he wrote it. We see a lot of violence and stuff that he talks about. At the same time, we have to understand that a lot of it is true and it's factual, and it's important for us to understand that he is not the cause of the violence. Yeah. He is the voice of the violence. Yeah. He is telling you how it is. Yeah. He is not making it the way it is.
I don't understand how Tucker and Bob Dole and all these other dudes, how they can say like we got gangster music. I never even classify my music as gangster music, and if you really, I know they haven't listened to my tape. I know somebody geesed them up to go attack Tupac. And now what it does is they attacked a few famous rappers, and now them themselves are famous. Bob Dole want to get elected, which he won't be. Dolores Tucker just want to get a name, which she won't find, because it'll fade. I don't see how she can say she's helping the black community and strike back at us. We are the black community, you know, we are a part of the black community. But as far as the lyrics, you can look at lyrics in my album, any album, and I'll pick out lyrics and I'll shut them up on all their points. You can look at my recent album, Me Against the World, the title song, Me Against the World, where it has lines that says like, can you picture my prophecy? Stress in the city, the cops on top of me. The projects is full of bullets, though bodies is dropping. There ain't no stopping me. Constantly moving while making millions. Witnessing killings, leaving dead bodies in abandoned buildings. Can't reach the children cause they illin'. Addicted to killing and the appeal of the cat pilling. Without feeling, but when they last will be blasted. Hard-headed bastard. Maybe he'll listen in this casket. Now how does that glorify thug life or gangsterism? I don't see how that does it. I don't understand how that could be, how you can say, you know, we're the cause of all this violence.
Is it true that you were born?
And we don't need no more rappers, we don't need no more basketball players, no more football players, we need more thinkers, we need more scientists, you know, we need more managers, we need more mathematicians, we need more teachers, we need more people who care, we need more, you know what I'm saying, we need more women, mothers, fathers, we need more of that, we don't need any more entertainment.
Because it's like, I'm seeing that as a farce, you know what I'm saying? I'm bad, it's a farce. Because like I said, I just told you some of the atrocities that this country's been committing in front of our face. You know what I'm saying? So, if I was bad, it would be more bodies. If I was this bad guy, how come ain't no corpses with my name on it?
You know what I'm saying? How come it's all these corpses with their names?
I think my mother knew that freedom wouldn't come in her lifetime, just like I know that it won't come in mine. But it's a matter of either we stay like this or somebody sacrifices, somebody lay a track so we don't stay in a 360-degree deadly circle. You know what I'm saying? Somebody has to break out and risk, you know, losing everything and being poor and getting beat down. But somebody has to do something. And we just got to be smarter and sharper, or they're going to start taking away each and every person that steps forward to do anything positive for the community. So that's why you be wondering why everybody want to live a negative lifestyle. It's safer. I think everybody shines in different things. And a lot of things I can't do. I can't play basketball like every other black person in America. But I can act. I know how to go to that true spot in myself because I'm there every day. I can be me. I can be whoever because I'm true to me. I can go to neutral easily. A lot of people, black, white, Mexican, young or old, fat or skinny, have a problem being true to themselves. They have a problem looking in the mirror and looking directly into their own souls. The reason I sell
and all that other shit is to control you. If the churches took half the money that they was making and gave it back to the community, we'd be all right. If they take half the buildings that they use to praise God and gave it to motherfuckers who need God, we'd be all right. We be all right. Have you seen some of these goddamn churches lately? It's ones that take up the whole block in New York. It's homeless people out here. Why ain't God letting them stay there? Why these niggas got gold ceilings and shit? Why God need gold ceilings to talk to me? Why do God need colored windows to talk to me? Why God can't come where I'm at, where he sent me? If God wanted to talk to me in a pretty spot like that, why the hell he sent me here then? You know what I mean? That make ghetto kids not believe in God. Why? So that's a wrong religion. I believe in God. I believe God put us wherever we want to be at. Then it makes sense that God will put us in the ghetto. That means he wants us to work hard to get up out of here. That means he's testing us even more. That makes sense. It makes sense that if you're good in your heart, then you closer to God. But if you evil, then you close to the devil. That makes sense. I see that every day. All that other spooky shit don't make sense.
Like this. So what I would tell, you know, anybody who would listen to me is that, you know, you got to start peeping the game. The game is the game of life. You got to start peeping how they're doing it. And if you see it, you can see the little signs that says that the guns are turning away from, you know, Europe and Russia and Iran and Iraq, and they're turning to us. Because look how they're doing our music. You know, you've never seen in no time in history where they've put so much attention on some music. You know what I mean? And made it like we are the cause of all these problems. You can look at it with a 3 strikes law. You can look at it where they're building more jails. They're starting to sell jail space. Yeah. You know, jail is big business. Believe me, I'm in jail. I see the big business. They charge you for your telephone calls. They charge you for disciplinary problems. Jail is big business. You know, you can feed a whole town off one jail. This jail is in the middle of a town that feeds everybody. Everybody works here. This is the main income. So if there was no criminals, nobody would work. You know what I mean? So if we don't start peeping that, seeing that, it just don't weigh out to be in our favor. So we need to start figuring out another way. Now, if we do want to live the thug life and the gangster life and all of that, okay, so stop being cowards and let's have a revolution. But we don't want to do that. Dudes just want to live a character. They want to be cartoons. But if they really wanted to do something, they was that tough, all right, let's start our own country. Let's start a revolution. Let's get out of here. Let's do something. But they don't want to do that. They want to pimp our communities and portray this image that they know we all can't survive and make it. And that's what I saw. Even though I was surviving in the thug life, everybody that was trying to be like me was going to jail. And then finally I went to jail. Even though I wasn't getting shot up, they was all getting shot up. Then I got shot up. I started seeing, damn, you know, it is my fault. It's not my fault where I made it happen, but it's my fault because I'm smarter than that. Yeah. Now, if I was dumb and I was ignorant is bliss. Ignorance is bliss. Now, if I was dumb, it'd be cool. It wouldn't be my fault. But it's my fault because I'm smarter than that. I do have another way I can say this. It doesn't mean that I don't feel that way no more. It just means that let me be as smart as them or smarter.
All right, knowing what you know.
Where do you see yourself in 20 years from now?
If God give me breath for 20 more years, I see myself changing the world. Because my thought patterns are so opposite of what's the norm.
Really?
So I would have to change the world, or I have to be changed by the world.
If you're not dark inside and you come to this world, it'll turn you dark.
You know what I'm saying? And so, if you really have sunshine in you, it's not good to play in the dark. It's just going to extinguish your fire. The hook goes, something we all adore. It's the one thing worth dying for. Nothing but pain, stuck in this game, searching for fortune and fame. Something we all adore. The one thing we dying for. Nothing but pain, stuck in this game, searching for fortune and fame. That's what I hear. It's so basic that we all want to be famous and noticed and watched, and we all want money and riches, and we all want the finest out of life, from the most heartless gangbanger to the most virtuous police officer.
New York City. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Every Sunday waking up, catching gossip at its worst. Couldn't see the difference in the Baptist and the Catholic Church. Caught up in the rapture of the first chapter and second verse. If we all God's children, then what's the word of the Reverend Worth? Taught early that faith is blind like justice when you face a time. If we all made in God's image, then that mean his face is mine. Wait. Or is that blasphemy? It's logical, it has to be. If I don't look like my father, then the way I live is bastardly. Naturally, that's confusion to a youngin' trying to follow Christ. Taught that if you don't know Jesus, then you lead a hollow life. Never question the fact that Jesus was a Jew and not a Christian, or that Christianity was made law by politicians. And who is King James? And why did he think that it was so vital to remove chapters and make his own version of the Bible? They say hell is underground, heaven is in the sky. They say that's where you go when you die, but how they know? I've been to many churches. I quoted many verses. I dealt with my base self. I control my many urges. I used to study my lessons. That was a blessing, not a curse. I found out that heaven and hell exist right here on earth. Word. Studied with Rastafarians. Found out from the dreads that hell is core Babylon, and that's where them crazy boyheads dwell. They got us thinking that Muslims like to make bombs, but real Muslims believe in paradise and resist the shaitan. So it all sound the same to me. But when they say one's right and the other's wrong, it just sound like gain to me. It's like God skipped past the church and came to me. No, that ain't vain to me. It's just a particular way that I came to see the difference between those that claim to be religious and those that say they spiritual, and recognize that life is full of miracles. You can see the flow is divine. I glow when I rhyme because it coincides with a growing tide of those looking for God and know to go inside, looking for absolution, living in mass confusion. The gas-inducing psychopath created a last solution based on his interpretation of what the words are saying. Looking for God but ended up doing the work of Satan. Religion create division, make the Muslim hate the Christian, make the Christian hate the Jew, make up rules of faith that you condition to and gotta follow. God forbid you go to hell. But if you ever been to any ghetto, then you know well. Peace.
Give it up for my man Talib Kweli.
If you really want to see what black governance is like, take a look at the mayors of major cities. When the cities were in power, we couldn't be the mayors. It's when the cities lost power, they put in black mayors. When the states had power, we couldn't be governors. But then when the states lose power, we got senators, governors, African-American senators and governors. Now the nation has lost power. The dollar has lost power. The world is global. Now you can get a black president because it doesn't matter. It's global now. So the real issue is this. Are you going to allow this system to tempt you into their prisons, into their job, into their psyche? Follow your purpose. This is what will defeat it all. If you're on your purpose, even death respects purpose. That's why I'm here. Because I'm on my purpose. Because I forgot who said it. But I'll quote it. It's a saying that says, what a disadvantage it is to only be able to die for your country one time. The concept is this. Don't get caught up. I said it on stage.
They put a black face on the New World Order, and now we all happy. KRS ain't buying it. I never been a voter. This year I voted. Why did I vote? Because I want to be able to critique. That's why I voted. This is the point. This is the point.
If they controlled it before, why would they let go now?
Boom!
I mean, these are people who sit on the air.
Wait a minute. Wait. Here it is. If they controlled it before, what makes you think they're not controlling it now? The country was on a verge of revolution. They threw a black man up. Now we like this. Don't get caught up. And I say this respectfully, because Barack Obama, I don't know the man. I don't know his agenda, but I know mine. Let's see if our agendas match. I stand with Dr. King. I stand with Malcolm X. I stand with the Black Panther Party. I stand with the Weathermen. I stand with the BLA. Now see, I don't know if my president can stand with that. But if my president frees Mumia Abu-Jamal, maybe he'll get my eye up. If my president could release political prisoners, maybe my eye will go up. If my president can stop ignoring police misconduct, maybe my eye will go up. But I'm not hopeful on that one. The concept is this. If Barack is true to the people, there will be some opposition. If there is opposition, we the people are the ones who gonna have to fight, not him. The real issue is, we used to say, which side are you on? Which side are you on? I'm not on the emotional side. I'm not on this black side, white side. I don't know what that is. I got black police officers shooting at me every day. I got black senators that want to keep me in poverty. I don't know what that is, but I know what the truth is. The truth come out of anybody's mouth. The truth don't have no color. The truth is that people are hurting. The truth is that they trying to turn us into China. The truth is we're in so much debt that the only way out is revolution or war. So now the question is, what side are you on? Because it's the truth. I start with the fact that everyone is pointing to Barack right now, President Obama, as saying, you got to get the economy together. You got to get the economy together. When in fact, the president has very little to do with the economy. It's the Federal Reserve Chairman that at least sets the policy. The president can appoint, or the president does appoint the Federal Reserve Chairman, but after that, that's a privately owned company, the Federal Reserve Bank. They set the agenda. What you said earlier about if their plans fail, they get to blame it on Barack. We need to go to where the real architecture of government is. And it's not in a president. It's in a global scheme to make the 99% work for the 1%. And the 99% are going along with it because they're tempting you with everything you want. In rap, a rapper named T.I. put a record out. He said, you can have whatever you like. Americans love that. You can have whatever you like. That's the trick. Learn to live simple. They hate it. Learn to say, I'm good, you can keep it. They hate it. Walk with God, walk with law, and never give up your gun. My mother used to tell me about slavery. And for a long time, I thought I had a slave history. I used to think I came from slavery until I realized that all of America is an immigrant country. We are constantly being refreshed with new people, constantly. Slavery, I put it this way, The only way slavery could have existed in this country for so long, over 300 years, is because people went along with it. The law cannot work unless the citizens go along with it, good or bad. If the citizens stop adhering to their own good laws, they're unprotected. If the citizens stomp out or stop aligning themselves with bad laws, the laws go away. Liberty is not granted, it's taken. Freedom, it can never be given to you. It's in here. Even if somebody got you in chains, got you picking cotton, in your heart and your mind, if you know you free, you looking for a way out. Even as you pick it, you call me whatever you like, I know I'm free. You can't give me freedom. Liberty. Wait a minute, I'll say this. We need to become free people again, not freed people. I'll say it again. We need to be free people, not freed people. Just because we have an emancipation procrastination does not mean that we are actually free. What makes you free is your declaration within that you are free. If somebody else can give you freedom, they can also take it away. When a lot of people were not free in the United States, Harriet Tubman was free. Frederick Douglass was free. Nat Turner was free. So the point of the matter is this: are you free or have you been freed? You say whatever you like about black people being overrepresented in prison. You know I ain't with that at all. But the truth is, my own people are lost. I said the other day, Dr. Martin Luther King Boulevard. I just came here, there's a Dr. Martin Luther King Boulevard. In Harlem, there's well, every city has a Dr. King Boulevard. If you go to the edges of those cities or even along the whole of the boulevard, what are black people doing on Dr. Martin Luther King Boulevard? We're selling drugs illegal. We're killing ourselves on Dr. King Boulevard. Then they think, well, there's a movie called Black Panther, the Black Panther movie, where it has become American entertainment to show how the government put heroin in the black community to offset revolutionary organizations. This is American entertainment. Like, you could go to the movies, sit down, and be entertained by this. I find it amazing. The true state of American history. We Africans in America, we were trying to get free. We couldn't get free on our own because our own people were betraying us. It was strong white American families that ran around railroad, that would leave a lantern in the window, and we would run up, knock 2 or 3 times, and be let in. A lot of families were hung because of that, shot because of that. Yeah, we talk about Harriet Tubman, but the families, the white American families that risked their lives taking her in, that's the part of American history we need to hear again. Here's the other piece right here. We gotta start raising women up. Femininity, the concept of the woman itself, needs to get rose up because they operate in a one-sided dimension, which is masculine only, the analytical. If we would just respect women more, not just, oh, let's stop calling women bitches. That's not it. Put women in their rightful place. One thing I was looking at, Hinduism teaches that when the mother is out of order, the whole family is out of order. Not when the father is out of order. Women are the center of the family, which means women are the center of the nation. of the nation.
That's why the system attacks them first.
Right. Get moms first, and you control the son and the father.
That's what Hitler said. First you get the women, then you got the children.
We're seeing our solution right here before our very eyes. We need to return to the feminine principles. We need to return to a respect for women. We need to start calling God she. That messes up their whole psychology. That destroys the whole thing. Like, they can't operate on that level.
We all come from women. We don't respect women, we don't respect ourselves.
Damn, Alex, can you turn that? I was going to say that violence in society is not caused by the people. It's caused by the neglect of leadership. And the police are the #1 cause of violence in society. They make the people jittery. They make the people insecure. Plus, if you look up what a police officer is in the Black's Law Dictionary, the only thing the police are supposed to be doing is keeping the peace. And they do not. So whose fault is it when you have violence in society if you're paying taxes to have peace in society and moral justice? The police are supposed to be the epitome of morality. Our children are supposed to look at a police officer and see an example of what a citizen is. Now they fear them. So if our children don't even respect the police, how are they going to respect the law? So I'm saying, stop the violence. Stop the violence in your home. Stop the violence in yourself, meaning doubting yourself, hating yourself. Stop the violence in society. 1.5 million young people get arrested every day. Every day. Every day. And for dumb stuff. Here's the point. Nature is set up in this way. Nature puts out 1 trillion sperm to fertilize 1 egg. What I say to my youth is this. Are you the one? There's 1 billion people on the planet. It only takes 1 to change it. Are you the one? There may be everybody in your classroom bugging out. Your whole school may be on fire with kids wild and bringing guns. But are you the one? Nature has a way of abundance. Nature puts out a lot of stuff looking for the one. So if you're going to go along with the trend of let's just kill each other, let's disrespect each other, then you're part of nature's plan as well to be part of just the excess. But if you think more of yourself than just being the excess, you'll do more for yourself. Are you the one? Everybody's not going to make it. But you have an opportunity to save yourself. Me? I'm a high school dropout. I left high school in 8th grade. I got sick of them lying to me. I educated myself at the Brooklyn Public Library. Now I teach at Harvard and Yale. I just came from England. We taught at Oxford University. It doesn't matter what credential you have. The truth shall set you free. I'm out of here.
One of my closest friends, one of my heroes, my companion. What more can I say about this brother? Without further ado, shenanigans from me, Def Poetry, New York City. Give it up for my man, Common.
Them boy wanna talk like them wanna guan come. But what you gonna do if you got 1 gun? I sing a song for the hero unsung, with faces on the mirror of the revolution. No looking back, cause in back is what's done. Tell the preacher, God got more than 1 son. Tell the law, my Uzi weighs a ton. I walk like a warrior, from them I won't run. On the streets they try to beat us like a drum. In Cincinnati, another brother hung. Again, he won't see the sun with his family stung. They want us to hold justice, but you handed me none. The same, they did to Kobe and Michael Jackson. Make them the main attraction, turn around and attack them. Black Jim in the rough, you're rugged enough. Use your mind and nine power, get the government touch. Them boy chat on how him pop gun. I got the black strap to make the cops run. They watching me, I'm watching them. Them dick boys got a lot of cock in them. My people on the block got a lot of pock in them. And when we roll together, we be rocking them to sleep. No time for that, cause it's things to be done. Stay true to what I do so the youth dream come. From project building, seen a fiend being hung. With that happening, why they messing with Saddam? Burn a bush, cause for peace he no push no button. Killing over oil and grease, no weapons of destruction. How can we follow leader when it's a corrupt one? The government's a G unit and they might buck young. Black people in the urban area one. I hold up a peace sign, but I carry a gun. Peace, y'all. Love.
He was the first African-American to get a PhD in philosophy here at Princeton. He went on to write more than 20 books, receive more than 20 honorary degrees, teach at Harvard and Yale, and hold posts at universities from Paris to Addis Ababa. His latest hip-hop CD got him named MTV's Artist of the Week, and he's played a futuristic sage in 2 of the Matrix movies. In a famous spat with the man who was then president of Harvard University, he called Lawrence Summers the Ariel Sharon of higher education. He is one of this country's most controversial and gregarious academics. His name is Cornel West.
Part of the problem we have here is a paradox. It goes back to Louis Armstrong, the jazz coming out of Storyville, coming out of the red light district of St. Louis. It comes out of the blues, Jim Crow, gut bucket, Delta, Mississippi. American mainstream is obsessed with black creative genius, be it music, walk, style, but at the same time puts a low priority on the black social misery, which is the very context out of which that creativity flows. So hip-hop itself is just, I mean, hip-hop emerges out of the American Ice Age. It's Reaganism. It's obsession with material toys. It's being indifferent to the suffering of the most vulnerable among us. And it's precisely among that most vulnerable among us that this genius emerges out of the Bronx with African Bambaataa and Kool Herc and a whole other. You all know the history. But what happens? Mainstream America all of a sudden says, my God, this genius is undeniable. I've got to get in. I want to get in on it. But at the same time, you got political priorities in which the disgraceful school system still in place. Dilapidated housing still in place. Unavailable child care, health care still in place. Not enough jobs of living wage still in place. So we're still wrestling with this paradox. And it's to do it. You know, I'm a Christian, so that I forgive people, even gangsters, you know what I mean? But I keep track of gangster activity. And when it comes to me, I draw the line, because I'm a Jesus-loving, free black man. And I draw the line. And I will not put up with disrespect or being dishonored, but especially those who are even in less privileged positions than I am, you see. So when he talked about the famous memo about not worrying about the pollution in third world countries, we could put more pollution
when he was at
there
the World
because
Bank.
suffering from overpopulation. He says, well, he takes credit for it. Well, you see, that's no plaything. See, African peoples are precious peoples. Just like Arabs are precious peoples, Asians are precious peoples, Europeans are precious people, Jews are precious people. Human beings are precious. I don't care who they are. And because I look at the world through the vantage point of poor people, which is the vantage point of the cross for me as a Christian, and concerned about the blood that flows, then when I look at empires, and I see shadow activities, I see 1,000 military branches, I see a ship in every ocean, I see drone attacks that kill innocent people, I see torturing in the form of force feeding, and a whole host of other kinds of torture taking place right now, under American auspices, you see. I take that quite seriously.
Obama has been dogged in his campaign by sentiments expressed by his pastor, Jeremiah Wright. I just want to play you some of those sentiments. We've got some clips, some excerpts here.
Barack knows what it means to be a black man living in a country and a culture that is controlled by rich white people. Hillary can never know that. Hillary ain't never been called a nigger.
God bless America, God damn America, that's in the Bible for killing innocent people. God damn America for treating us citizens as less than human.
What did you make of the sentiments expressed by Pastor Wright?
No, Brother Jeremiah Wright is my dear friend, and I've had the opportunity to speak in his church on many occasions. I'm so glad you played the full quote, because you see, there's no God worthy of worship who does not condemn injustice, just as the same God who blesses justice. So that when we say God damn America when America kills innocent people, that's true for any nation. God damn America when America treats human beings less than human. That's true for any nation. It's true for Russia. It's true for Ethiopia. It's true for South Africa. It's true for Guatemala. We must never put the cross under the flag. He is a prophetic Christian preacher, and therefore for him every flag is subordinate to the cross. Now, if in fact you believe that America has never killed innocent people, then God never damns America. But we know God damns slavery in America with the first 100 years. God damns Jim Crow and Jane Crow. God damns the hatred of gays and lesbians. God damns anti-Semitism in America. God damns anti-Arab terror sensibility in America. God is a God of justice and of love. And so what he was trying to get at is a degree to which there is still injustice in America, and never confuse criticizing injustice in America with anti-Americanism. That any resistance to injustice, be it in America or be it in Egypt, be it in America or be it in Saudi Arabia, is in fact a God-driven activity, because righteous indignation against the treatment of any group of people is an echo of the voice of God for those of us who take seriously the cross. Well, there's no doubt Martin Luther King Jr. made it quite clear. He said that the criminal slaughter of Vietnamese brothers and sisters, especially the children, was a sign of American barbarity. That America was the greatest purveyor of violence in the world in the 1960s. And most importantly, Martin Luther King Jr. had planned to preach, if he had lived long enough, April 8th, that Sunday, April 7th, that Sunday, why America may go to hell, but he would say it with agony and anguish. The difference, though, between Brother Martin Luther King Jr. and my dear brother Jeremiah Wright is that Martin had such deep love. It's that unconditional love in him. And he said it in a way, in a style where you could almost see the tears flowing from his eyes, because he empathized not just with those who were dealing with catastrophic circumstances, but the very folk who were ruling, because he knew that even rulers who are governed by greed and hatred must reap what they sow. That in that sense, chickens do come home to roost. That's true for elites, be they in the Arab world, the European world, the Asian world, or the American world.
There's also an appropriation of the language of racism and of racial analysis. There's almost a reverse phenomenon going on when Glenn Beck accuses Obama of being a racist. What do you make of the appropriation of that?
Well, I think part of it is that the neoconservatives and neoliberals had adopted the colorblind discourse. So anytime you invoke race, somehow you are racist, and they view themselves as colorblind. They try to reduce Brother Martin Luther King's claim about he wants his daughters to be judged by not the color of their skin, but the content of their character.
Glenn Beck loves to cite that quote.
I can imagine, because Martin has been deodorized, sanitized, and sterilized by the right wing and neoliberals to such a degree that his militancy is downplayed. Martin never even used the word colorblind. He wanted us to be love-struck. You see, I'm part of the legacy of Martin King. I don't believe in colorblind. You can't love somebody if you don't know what color they are. You can't love them if you don't know what gender they are. You can't love them if you don't know what their bodies look like. To be love-struck is to embrace who they are, which includes embracing the best of their culture and the best of their history and best of their heritage. But love-struck means you're grounded, you're embodied. Colorblind means it's abstract and be manipulated by right-wing figures, and they're doing that all the time. And of course, I mean, the funny thing is that the same folk who were colorblind about Barack when he ran during the campaign, as soon as he won, they talked about his blackness. First black president, my God, my God, my God. We made a great breakthrough. Black people now ought to be satisfied. You got a black man in the White House. Oh, I didn't know he was black. I thought you were colorblind. I thought you didn't even know what color he was. You see how hypocritical it is? You can see the discrepancy between what they say and what they do. So that in the end, it's not a question at all of being colorblind. The question is our humanity. All human beings come in bodies, in cultures, in genders, in civilizations, and we have to be able to embrace, be they Asian, European, Latin American, North American, whatever.
I want to talk about some of your other work right now. You have collaborated with the rap artist Malik Yusuf, and we have an email here about that from Fred in California in the United States. And Fred wants to know, how has hip-hop contributed to American culture? This is not specifically on rap. Do you think its popularization has brought black and white Americans together, or has it just dumbed down what was a socially conscious art form?
Well, it depends on what kind of hip-hop you're talking about. You know, you got Lupe Fiasco, you got Raw Digger, you've got Common, you've got Kanye West, you've got KRS-One. These are all progressive hip-hop artists. But then on the other hand, you've got hip-hop artists who are deeply misogynist, women degrading, women hating, homophobic, degrading of gay brothers and lesbian sisters, hedonistic and materialistic, obsessed with bling-bling, G-string, instant gratification, bodily stimulation. Well, these are not spiritually healthy modes of being in the world. To that degree, it's just dumbing down. Now, it's a reflection of American culture as a whole, but again, you've got progressive hip-hop and you've got deeply, deeply regressive hip-hop. As an art form, of course, it's probably the most important cultural force on the globe. You know, you got the hip-hop in Slovakia, they got hip-hop in Brazil, they got hip-hop in Taiwan. It's an international phenomenon of youth culture. Again, a reflection of the genius of young black people, beginning in the belly of the American empire, but generating new possibilities, yearning for hope, yearning for some kind of humane treatment, and yet themselves reproducing some of the very systems of domination within their music that they were resisting in the first place.
Thing is, specifically to Dr. West and to Ariana, if I'm Barack Obama, I'm also saying to myself, for all of y'all's protestations, y'all's Tabitha's, anybody else, y'all ain't got nowhere to go. What you gonna do? You ain't got nowhere to go. What you gonna do, Doc?
Bear witness, brother. That's all you can do in your life. Tell the truth and fight for justice.
And hold your nose and still vote for it.
Well,
The ballot secret.
it depends, because we got 2 years now. So the thing is this, that it's very clear that the two-party system is part of the brokenness that we're talking about.
Right.
We got both parties that are dominated by the same interests, corporate big bank. You got ordinary citizens, different political, ideological, racial groups feeling relatively powerless, relatively impotent. Now that can be the makings of a crypto-fascism if we don't begin to come to terms with this, you see. But on the other hand, it also means the Tea Party brothers and sisters, they're going to become more and more upset with the establishment in the Republican Party because the business interests and their populist interests begin to be more and more in tension. And at the same time, Barack Obama, masterful, eloquent, charismatic in his language, in his policies. You can't bring in Geithner and Summers and say you're building on the legacy of Martin King. You can't do that. Martin died for sanitation workers. He died because he sided with poor babies in Vietnam against American occupation. He was anti-militarist, he was anti-imperialist, he was against the American empire in terms of its presence around the world, undercutting what he thought to be certain principles. But all Martin could do was bear witness. That's why when he died, 75% of Americans against him, 55% of black people against him. Because he was too loving. When you love poor people that much, when you love working people that much, that makes you the freest man in the country, or the freest woman in the country. But you also are the biggest threat to both Republican and Democratic parties. Now what I'm calling for is the legacy of Martin. But I can only call for it, I can only live a life based on it, because I don't control history, I don't control the system. The whole system has a rock that shot through it in a certain way. That's not beating America down in that way. It's just Socratic criticism. No, I won't, because I want my brother to understand that we still,
Dr. West,
we still working on this thing together. It's just,
the president does have a bust of Dr. King in the Oval Office.
He's got Brother Martin, but what is Martin saying every day he walks in?
How deep is your love for poor and working people? I died fighting an illegal, immoral war in Vietnam. What makes you think the war in Afghanistan doesn't have the same status? That's what Martin's saying to him every day. But the problem is this, though, that this is part of the lies of the mainstream. People have reached the conclusion Barack Obama is the fulfillment of King's dream. That's not true. That's not true. Our beloved president is a fulfillment of King's dream. He's not the fulfillment of King's dream. The fulfillment is poor people, not just black people, white, red, not just in this country, but around the world. That's a hell of a dream. Martin was that kind of dreamer. We got to be honest about it.
Well, we did a single with Brother Rhyme Fest and Neo Abyss called Welcome to the Shy, but this was a CD that I did called Never Forget with Prince, late great Gerald Levert, Jill Scott, Lenny Williams, Talib Kweli, Black Thought of the Roots. It was a magnificent coming together, and what I was trying to do is, as a deep Democrat and as a freedom fighter, I want to present a danceable education to the younger generation so they make the shift from bling bling and G-string to truth and justice, keep alive the rich legacy of not just Curtis Mayfield but Bob Marley, keep alive the rich legacy of those freedom fighters who use music as a way of making us more aware and alert to suffering to others and muster the courage to do something about it. Most importantly, be willing to sacrifice, be willing to pay a cost. I think you're taking race out of the equation. No such thing. You think you're going to have 400 years of white supremacy, slavery, Jim Crow, lynching, and so forth, another 40 years of discrimination, covert as well as overt, and one presidential campaign is going to take race out of the equation? No way.
Why doesn't he say something? Shh.
In Texas, they lynched Negroes. My teammates and I saw a man strung up by his neck and set on fire. We drove through a lynch mob, pressed our faces against the floorboard. I looked at my teammates. I saw the fear in their eyes. And worse, the shame. What was this Negro's crime that he should be hung without trial in a dark forest filled with fog? Was he a thief? Was he a killer? Or just a Negro? Was he a sharecropper? A preacher? Were his children waiting up for him? And who are we to just lie there and do nothing? No matter what he did, the mob was the criminal. But the law did nothing, just left us wondering why. My opponent says, nothing that erodes the rule of law can be moral. But there is no rule of law in the Jim Crow South, not when Negroes are denied housing, turned away from schools, hospitals, and not when we are lynched. St. Augustine said, an unjust law is no law at all, which means I have a right, even a duty, to resist. With violence or civil disobedience. you should pray I choose the latter.
In tonight's debate between Harvard University
They say they're part of a movement, but then it's very rare when you find artists who are a movement unto themselves. The first time I ever heard these brothers, it was a beautiful day. First song I heard from them was a song called Happiness. They're some of the downest brothers you will ever meet. They make me feel like in my high school again. I be wanting to be down with them so bad, whatever I could do. Cheerlead, mascot, I got y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for my brothers, my comrades, Matulu, M1, Stickman, Dead Prez.
Yeah. New York 3 them all. Yeah. RBG. Look. Yo, you expect me to vote for the lesser of two evils? Never. It's more like the evil of two lessers. That's like saying M, choose your oppressor. Pick one. Jeffrey Dahmer or Hannibal Lecter. You want crack, Coke, Pepsi, or Dr. Pepper. They all fucked up, but neither one of them better. Cause crack is like a Democrat, cocaine Republican, marijuana Independent Party, same government. You really think your vote count? Ask my folk down in Florida, didn't they straight throw they shit out? And the crackers act innocent, knowing they depend on this. Benefit from hush money from big businesses. Money is the president, dead prayers, dollar bill, and I bet no convention ain't spending this. Soon they gon' need us, believe us. When these cats pick rappers to be political leaders. Don't be pawns, be low, leader LeBrons. Run up on them arm like motherfucker, it's on. If Congress can't make progress, let's change the process. No more time running for office. Talking like that, these crackers will call you crazy. What's crazy is, ain't no difference in me and Jay-Z. The same boat brought us the same place from slavery, so you rock the same chains anyway. Baby.
I organize everything I do, revolutionize. I build what's good for the whole damn hood. Study G's like these, really think you should.
Study Malcolm Garvey Huey. Malcolm Garvey Huey. Study Malcolm Garvey Huey. Malcolm Garvey Huey.
RT sitting down with M1 from underground political hip-hop duo Dead Prez. M1, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
I want to get started with a topic that you touch upon a lot in your lyrics, and that's corporate ownership of the media in the United States.
Sure.
Through your eyes, how does that affect what Americans see on TV, and why is that a bad thing?
Oftentimes because the people who have the most interest in, or the people who are the corporate ownership itself, their interest conflict directly with where the reality of the majority and the masses of the people are.
Now, you have this very popular song called Propaganda, and there's a sentence in there that reads, you can't fool all of the people all of the time, but if you fool the right ones, the rest will fall behind.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, has that happened, and who is fooling the people?
I bet if you read in Propaganda 101, Media 101, these words are probably ingrained in stone because this seems to be the mantra, by which media was born in this country out of a kind of deception, the line that has the interest of the ruling class once again. The bottom line in media, and they, meaning fool the people, would mean big government who has interest in making sure that even though bombs are being dropped in many other countries in the interest of oil and dollars and control, that we maintain focus on a soap opera type relationship between people whose lives are pretty trivial when it boils down to our basic needs of food, clothes, and shelter every day.
I mean, well, let's get it right. It's RBG. That's
Revolutionary but Gangster, Red, Black, and Green, Read About Garvey, you know, Reaching Bigger Goals, Real Black Girls, Real Brown Girls, you know.
Real Brothers Grinding.
You know, Rice, Beans, and Gravy, you know, RBG.
Yeah.
You know, what we building on is just one that we wanna make change. We want to see fundamental change in our communities, in ourselves, in our world, you know, but we recognize we living up under a gangster system. You know what I mean? Whether you in the U.S., whether you in Australia, whether you know, all over the planet, you got colonizers and oppressors that's living by gangster rules on stolen land. You know what I mean? Stealing resources. So we know that we can't vote, pray, wish, dance, sing, rap our way out of this. You know what I mean? It's gangster business, so we got to be on our gangster, you know, moving forward. So, gangster is a man who could, you know, control his own community. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I like.
DP played a major role in influencing me. Not influencing me in the sense of like what it was I was about, but feeling comfortable saying it. Feeling like it was cool to take a stance, you know what I'm saying, and speak on something that was real and not be boxed out. And what's sick is, we'll pay $50 to be called a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Artists like DP that's talking about uplifting on folks, and not just because of the message, but because they bang.
Turn off the radio. Say turn off that bullshit. Say turn off the radio. Say turn off that bullshit. Frisco, say turn off the radio. Say turn off that bullshit. Yo, turn off the radio. Say.
The music is our vehicle to freedom, but they don't want to use it to sell us no revolution.
Walk like a warrior. What you got to do? Walk like a warrior. So kill this true.
Artists haven't gone anywhere. You know what I mean? The artists who are saying stuff are still saying stuff. Matter of fact, some people are dumbing it down so they trying not to say nothing, you know, or acting more unintelligent than they actually are because it's not what's cool right now.
Like even on the labels that we was on, they would literally tell us that your music is too intelligent for the hood. Like they would, like the executives and motherfuckers, whatever, who work there would literally say, well, yeah, I know y'all want to go do X, Y, and Z in Brownsville or, you know what I mean, wherever in Houston, but you know, the people are not that sophisticated, you know, and like try to promote that kind of shit.
I think it's crazy because in order to say something as an MC, you got to know something. You can't just talk, and that's what's happening is that, you know, right now the way that the system is set up, it has artists are groomed not to say stuff on purpose. Artists are groomed out of a kind of, you know, the stable is made to just for the dance. It's just for education.
And the gangster, you know, we talking about is never selling dope in our community.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's never exploiting and pimping our own sisters or each other. You know what I'm saying? It's not trying to be a capitalist and just do what they doing with a black face on. We ain't never talking about that when we talking about gangster, you know. We talking about being of the people and for the people.
That's right. Yeah. You know, in terms of reading material, getting knowledge on, getting hip to the game, you know?
I think the best starting point is always yourself. You know, a lot of times we think we have to look outside ourselves to get information. You know, and we do have to each one teach one. You know what I mean? We have to learn from each other. We got to learn from history. We learn from dissecting the media and critically analyzing things. But without a foundation of your own self-knowledge, you know, your own experiences in your family, in your neighborhood, in your community, then all the book knowledge in the world ain't gonna really make no sense. It ain't gonna connect home. You know, so I encourage people to look around you. You know, look inside you. You know, build from there. Deal with your health. Learn about health. Learn about self-defense. Learn about agriculture. You know, learn about making clothes. Making machinery and technology and you know what I mean, communications and skills. You know, I think a lot of times if we start with the revolutionary political dialogue about what's going on in the world, and that's key. You can't get around that. That's essential. But a lot of times we get that first, and then we make ourselves targets with that information. We get out on Front Street before we get our military together, before we get our plans together, our economics. So if you're a young person, if there's anything I could say is get your skills up while you get your political education, so that you can lay a strategic plan out for your community, and you'll be able to have the resources to support it. You know what I'm saying?
I got to add on to it and say, I was able to gain a scientific look at the world, through the analysis of the Uhuru movement, which is a revolutionary organization. It gave me glasses, a new pair of glasses to put on and see the world with. So it was a revolutionary political education, what type like Kanoon talked about, because I didn't come up knowing who Malcolm X was. I wasn't born into the my father wasn't no Black Panther. My mother wasn't no Black Panther. I didn't grow up in a revolutionary community doing revolutionary tradition. I didn't practice African Liberation Day. I didn't know what Black Solidarity Day was and none of that stuff. I grew up doing that what everybody else do, Christmas and the Easter Bunny and all that. And so with that being said, I had a fantastic way to educate myself through using these new glasses, and once you do that, anything you read is political education. Anything you read, you can look at you can look at anything from a nonfiction book to something that's all the way out science fiction, and you can put it in a category that makes you understand where this fits in the world that we are in today and give you answers to answer. And it also help you place yourself in the world composition, because I didn't know where we were in the whole struggle for our people, and it's good when you get a world scope on it. So I mean, you could read the funny papers, you could see the news, and you could say, oh, that's bullshit, that's the BBC, oh, that's CNN, oh, that's NBC, oh, that's Fox, that's bullshit. And even when you see Al Jazeera, you can say, oh, and when you see what's going on with Haiti, you can say, oh, okay, they didn't wipe out the dead on Haiti because they like Haiti. They wiped out the dead on Haiti because they're trying to move in on Haiti and take over Haiti, and it's got valuable resources in Haiti, and you don't take it for face value. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, with anything you read, you got to read it with them glasses on.
Well, whose interests are the media more interested in representing in their news coverage? Is it the corporations? Is it the government? Who is it? Who is the main kind of entity the media sleeps with?
Well, let's be clear. The media is the right hand of the ruling class. It is the voice of the ruling class in this particular country, of which we would say less than 10% own 90% of the wealth and resources. So this propaganda arm of the ruling class does represent corporation. It does represent government, if there can be government, because the so-called democracy is run by dollars. It is the political campaigns where they spend millions upon millions of dollars. I mean, almost, if you think about it, wastefully. So it is the ruling class interest that the media represents in the name of the corporations, and America being one of the biggest corporations.
In a nutshell, get organized, you know what I mean? Like, I encourage, I think there's genius in that cat on the street, you know what I mean? Just what he is, his experiences, things that he has in him, and a lot of times that don't get acknowledged because we always trying to say, you need to do this and you need to do that. So I just want to acknowledge that our movement comes from the streets, you know what I mean? It comes from the people at the bottom, the people disenfranchised, period. So, you know what I mean? I say be a leader, you know what I mean? You have experience of surviving, you have experience of making ends meet with little or nothing, making something out of nothing. You have this, so bring it to the people in a way that we can learn from that, you know what I mean? Share that with the community, and we all be transformed like that.
That's right. Take a tip from what Stick said. Get organized, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen. Get organized. We have to organize ourselves into one unit that can have tiers of responsibility and carrying out what we got to do. If we need to get information, we got people who can do that. We need people to get out information, we got people who can do that. We need people to raise money, we got people to do that. We need people to make regulations, we got people And there's all them type of skills in every average cat out here in the street. All we need is a place to apply that at, and that's getting organized. For me, it happened through the Uhuru movement. I can recommend it to you, uhurumovement.org. That's UHURU movement.org. Malcolm X grassroots movement. We went out here in Sydney and went to the street university. I know that they got people who have all kind of things going on. I can't say what level of political consciousness is there, but I know we were able to go in there and touch that. I know that's happening in Melbourne. I know that's happening all over Australia. So, I mean, you know, get organized.
In one of your songs, you say the Democrats and the Republicans are two sides of the same coin. Does that mean you think that Obama is just a continuation of George Bush?
Obama representing capitalism being just a continuation of George Bush is an understatement. You have a system which was built off the enslavement of African people to birth this economy. It gave birth to not only what's happening here domestically, but around the world, which is what we call today is imperialism. George Bush was only a cog in the engine. You have Barack Hussein Obama as also a cog, meaning a small part of the machinery that works the system. The same old kind of a rule that happened across the country is still happening in the same old way, but represented by a face more familiar, a face that is usually associated with the oppressed and poor people. So it is important to maintain the kind of programs and campaigns, a continuation of even more spending on war is what Obama's doing than what Bush has done in his previous presidency, in his tenure. We have more empty promises to the poor and oppressed people, especially the Mexican people who along the borders are being hunted down brutally like animals against even the basic human rights. These are promises that Barack Obama and George Bush were able to make to these people in an empty way and not come up with any solutions, and yet and still the same practice happens today, if not in a more exacerbated fashion.
The relationship between hip-hop with black people and the police, okay, in terms of like, you know, classic tracks like NWA saying fuck the police. Yeah. And because I see it on the outskirts here where a lot of people hear that sort of shit and attitude, yeah, fuck the cops, fuck the police, but it's sort of like an image, it's sort of like a gangster mentality, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's kind of fun and it's exciting, you know? Right. But obviously that comes from a real thing for black people, you know? So I want to talk about this relationship between the police and black people. Why you guys sort of advocate that message of, hey, you know what I'm saying? Look out for the pigs, they can, you know, mess with, you know, they can mess with.
I mean, it's based in the present day and the historic relationship that police, the agency of the police, and the courts and the judge and the military and all that shit in one. The relationship that it has to the masses of people, which is to keep us away from our resources, you know, and to make us a part of the incarcerated economy, you know what I mean? So people not stupid. We might not have all the Buddha enlightenment, you know what I mean, that life has in store for us all the time, but we recognize that we get locked up in our neighborhoods for shit other people get awards for. You know what I'm saying? You know, if somebody come to your land and steal all the bread, right? They call that colonizing. You know what I'm saying? When we say I'm hungry, I'm gonna go get some bread because I don't have ability to reproduce my own economy, they say you're a thief, right? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, so when they start talking about police and, you know, laws and shit like that, you know, people is like, that's hypocrisy. And it's black community, it's the brown community, and it's even the masses of white folks within predominantly white places. The people on the bottom have a problem with the police because they are arm of the state. They protect the status quo. You know what I mean? And a lot of the police themselves, if they wasn't a police, they would be they live in the conditions that would put their ass in jail just like they putting everybody else in jail. So, you know, we say fuck the police, it's definitely not just an emotional thing, you know, based in some hip hop rap record shit. It's based in knowing the relationship, and the reason the police exist is to keep the people from their natural rights and resources. For the 10%, the small group of people that want to live off the land, live off the people, you know, and do all the crimes that they locking everybody else up for.
I want to talk to you about the events in Egypt, the poverty of the people that led to these uprisings. Do you think the U.S. political elite should be fearful that something similar could come here?
I think the conditions are ripe for there to be uprisings in the same manner, because the same set of conditions that existed in Cairo exist in New York City, exist in Miami, Florida, exist in Los Angeles. You have a ruling class with an abuse of power. I was recently in Cairo, and I was there on a humanitarian aid mission to help the people in Gaza. In order for us to get to Gaza, we had to jump through so much bureaucracy. And we began to understand that not only did Egypt's government, was it controlled by bureaucratic politicians in Egypt, but Israel had a huge stake in making sure that the state of Egypt was the way that it was, maintained.
You're saying that's the situation.
And that is definitely the situation in the streets. Look at what we have inside the United States. We have young African, black and brown subjects, community colonial subjects being shot down in the street in an obsessive kind of way. 50 shots, 60 shots, laying on our stomach, in our back, as we run or as we walk or flee in retreat from the scene. This is an abuse of power, which is a powder keg upon which we're sitting on. And we've discussed already the jobless rate. We've discussed already the idea that there's a crisis even in the ideology of America and who will be the next to lead. So there is a competition about that happening as well, and people are charged. People are charged and are waiting to jump into action.
I want to talk to you about, you mentioned a little bit of the issue of police brutality. How big is the scope through your eyes?
Police terror is an instrument of the state used to coerce young people. It's a fear mechanism, but the police state is the control of the resources. It's control of healthcare, the stifling of education, the current situation of the economy, the governing, the legislation, and us not being able to put policy, real policy that's meaningful into people's lives that make sense, so that we can our daily lives are affected. This is police state, and the police are just instruments in coercion of the state. So does the military play a part. There are so many ways that the police state is implemented.
And my little 2 cents on it is, man, you know, what Dead Prez does in my book is called revolutionary culture, because it's connected to our cultural understanding of our movement. It's directly related. It's not something that's detached from it. You can't make it pop music and make it in its own thing. It's directly related. So with that, I don't mind taking the poetic license. I take poetic license whenever I can, just like I say cracker, because the same way everybody else got the right to say nigga. In poetic license, we have to be able to pull that into the full scope of what it is. So when we say fuck the police, not only do we recognize that the pigs are the pigs, which come from the same movement that we know represent the oppressor and represent the ruling class and their stuff, but also just fuck the police, like straight up. Like sometimes I feel like just fuck the police, you know what I'm saying? And we ought to be able to do that and draw people in who have an affinity, who might not have nothing to do with the movement, but when they hear that, and they hear us saying it, they're gonna attach it to what we're talking about, because it's something they understand, it's something we doing, and hopefully it will get them another step down the road, so when they manage their mouth to say fuck the police next time, they know it comes with real consequences, you know what I'm saying, hopefully, you know what I'm saying?
And I wanna add too, cause realistically, I know there's people from different perspectives that might say, well, yeah, but how you gonna have a society, without no police? That people who really believe that the police serve some type of protective measure, they doing good in some kind of way, all right? Or police might have not gave you a ticket one day, and you like, hey, he was a good guy, some shit like that. But the reality is, if you don't need police to have order and respect and rights respected in society. In fact, the police don't make that happen now, do they? We got police, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of police, and you ain't got no peace. You still ain't got no justice. You know what I'm saying? So that's not the source of where the police is not who gives us justice and things like that. That comes from an understanding within the community itself. You know what I mean? And a development of the people instead of keeping knowledge, keeping resources from the masses, right? And so people don't get to develop that sense of community, that sense of honor, respect, and things like that. Because people is like, I gotta get mine. You know, you got me out here. You know what I mean?
Hungry man's an angry man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So you know, really, you know, Chairman O'Malley of the Uhuru movement said, you know, the police become necessary, you know, only at that junction in human society, you know, where there's a split between the haves and the have-nots. You dig? So, you know, that's what time it is.
Said that the ruling elite is one of the bigger problems as to why, you know, the working class is in trouble and really struggling right now. And you have a song called Know Your Enemy. Who is the main enemy of the common American people?
Our main enemy is ignorance, not a proper political education. This is the enemy of our people, because once we can understand, diagnose what we're living under, all human beings who recognize that me and you have human rights will fight for the rights of human beings. The way we are being governed now treats a good sector of our people less than human in this country. Nothing short of revolution, but there's so many steps. There's so many steps in empowerment of our people. And the enemy out of this particular time that we're in is lack of information and political education.
I want to switch gears actually a little bit and ask you about the way the United States interacts with other countries. Do you think the U.S. has too much power over other countries, or tries to have too much power in really getting in the affairs and the businesses of other nations out there who deserve to make their own decisions? What's your take on this kind of foreign policy exchange that goes on nowadays?
Power is he who controls imperialism. The belly of imperialism is born at the birth of capitalism in this country through the enslavement of Africa and its resources, which are still being siphoned out of Africa and into the world today, despite the world media tirade against Africa, portraying it as this third world place to be. This has been the #1 place that people have been siphoning resources from for 500 years. Power comes from the barrel of a gun. And so as many bombs as they can point at whatever foreign country that it plans to control is readiness and willingness to take this area. I don't care if it's Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, Palestine, Somalia, Darfur, South Africa, Venezuela, Colombia, many places in Mexico. We see the same tentacles of U.S. domination because of its ability to have its power base here, the birth of its strength in capitalism, and then the defense of it using military might around the world.
M1, thank you for your time with us.
Thank you.
You a better man than me. You happy? Now, you gonna tell Will or not?
I'm not gonna do your dirty work for you.
Fine. I'll call him from the road.
Yeah, then why don't you do that?
Yeah, I'll do that. Daddy-o! What's up? Will, I'm glad you're here. Some business came up I gotta handle. So we're gonna have to put our trip on hold. You understand?
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Just for a couple of weeks.
I understand.
Yeah. Maybe a little longer.
Yeah, whatever.
Look, I'll call you next week and we'll iron out the details. Okay?
Yeah.
It was great seeing you, son.
You too, Lou.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Will.
You know what? Actually, this works out better for me. You know, the slimmies of summer come to class wearing next to nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Will, it's all right to be angry.
Hey, why should I be mad? I'm saying at least he said goodbye this time. I just wish I hadn't wasted my money buying this stupid present.
I'm sorry. You know, if there was something that I
Hey,
could
you know
do.
what? You ain't got to do nothing, Uncle Phil. Hey, you know, ain't like I'm still 5 years old, you know? Ain't like I'm gonna be sitting up every night asking my mom, when's Daddy coming home, you know? Who needs him? Hey, he wasn't there to teach me how to shoot my first basket, but I learned, didn't I? Hey, I got pretty damn good at it too, didn't I, Uncle Phil?
You did.
Got through my first date without him, right? I learned how to drive, I learned how to shave, I learned how to fight without him. I had 14 great birthdays without him. He never even sent me a damn card. To hell with him! I ain't need him then and I don't need him now.
Will.
Now, you know what, Uncle Phil? I'm gonna get through college without him. I'm gonna get a great job without him. I'm gonna marry me a beautiful honey, and I'm gonna have me a whole bunch of kids. I'm gonna be a better father than he ever was. And I sure as hell don't need him for that, because ain't a damn thing he could ever teach me about how to love my kids. How come he don't want me, man?